On the 6th of July 2023, a 35-week pregnant Nahomy Guerrero visited the K.H.M.H Memorial Hospital after noticing blood in her urine. She wanted to ensure her unborn child was healthy.
So I see myself at the hospital the morning, right? But before I went to the hospital, the 6th of July, I remember waking up and going to take a shower, and my first morning urine was pink. I said, something really happened, so I have to go check.
And this is where her hospital horror story began. She arrived at the hospital's emergency room at approximately 7 a.m. on July 6th. She says that she saw a nurse a half hour later.
She said, "Why didn't you come from yesterday?" And I tell her, "Miss, because I didn't make it a big deal because I'm just a small dash of blood, but this morning when I see my urine pink, and for last night I done decide in my mind that I was going to check." Then she said, "You the bleed right now?" I tell her, "No, ma'am." "Well, you should have been calling you with the bleed at the moment, because if you're not bleeding right now, it's not an emergency anymore."
In Corozal town on December 31st, 2018, Leah Woodeye and her husband, Deon Woodeye, experienced their own hospital horror. At midnight, their 11-week-old son, Deon Woodeye Jr., came down with a severe case of diarrhea. A few hours later, they rushed him to the Corozal Community Hospital.
We reached emergency, like 6:30. I walk in, me and my husband with the baby, and the nurse was behind the desk. She had a phone in her hand, guy foot cock up on one thing, and the fool at the hand. So I tell her, "Morning nurse," I tell her, "Bring my son because he got the family things and diarrhea and my baby." He said, "You have to go over clinic because no doctor no there right now for attend you."
Leah says they waited for over 2 hours with their sick child to be attended to. His condition grew worse by the hour. They were called into triage after 9 a.m. She was yet to see a doctor.
When the nurse said the baby, he said, "How long this baby dey like this?" I tell her, "Fan, like 12 o'clock, I tell her, "Me don't care an emergency," and they send me up. He said, He said, "That sound funny." He said, "They should have attended to this baby over there." What the reason why? I tell her, "Nurse, I don't know."
In Belize City, Guerrero sought to get an ultrasound after nurses determined that her situation was not an emergency. She wanted to ensure that her unborn child was still alive and in good health. Guerrero says the hospital demanded that she pay for the ultrasound up front before undergoing the procedure. She was yet to see a doctor.
They did the ultrasound till around 12:37 to 40, so from morning that I was there. They didn't even rush me to take the ultrasound to see what was happening. Well, when the security man come and take me to do the ultrasound, when I came off of the bed, I saw blood stains all over the bed sheet. So I told the nurse that went in, and she said, "Yeah, okay, I will change the sheet." That's all they said. And they didn't really pay it any mind. So I did the ultrasound around that time, and the results, they came and gave me the results till around 3:30 in the evening.
The hospital informed Guerrero that she was experiencing a placental abruption. Without prompt medical treatment, a severe case can have dire consequences for the mother and her unborn child. Dr. Fernando Cuellar gave us some insight into this diagnosis.
What that means is that the placenta either totally or partially peel away from the lining of the uterus, and that can lead to fetal death. The baby can die because that's how the baby gets the nourishment and the blood and feeding from the placenta, which then also can lead to maternal death. The mother can die because it can bleed out, so it's considered an emergency.
Over at the Corozal Community Hospital, Woodeye finally gets to see a doctor to attend to her 11-week-old ill son.
Meanwhile, I sit down there, then come and then they holla, one of the nurses say, "You sure you can 6? He said, "Because I don't think you can 6. If not, then I attend you. I tell her, "No, I came 6. And from there, so the one next one come and he say, "No man, I don't think that you never must go. You must have gone straight over there." I tell her, "No, I never gone there."
Deon Woodeye Jr. was now in critical condition and being prepared for transportation to the Northern Regional Hospital in Orange Walk Town. Woodeye asserts that there was a delay in transporting her child to Orange Walk because the driver refused to leave the hospital without first receiving $50 as compensation.
The third time, she called her back. She tell her, you know what? If anything happened to this baby, he said, we are in a problem. So he reached almost 25 minutes after the last call.
But it was too late. Just after 10 a.m., baby Deon passed away inside the Corozal Community Hospital. Doctors certified his cause of death as hydromineral imbalance, acute diarrheal disease.
That is considered one relative emergency because what that does, you can either try to rehydrate, right to replenish the fluids and the electrolytes either orally, if permitting, because sometimes they don't come with diarrhea, now you come with vomiting, so you have to put up an IV. But I would think that it's not a super emergency, but within also a reasonable time, you should put up an IV and rehydrate that person properly.
Over in Belize City, Guerrero was informed that her unborn child appears to be in good health. She was also told that she would undergo a cesarean section and that the baby's heart rate would be constantly monitored. But that C-section was not performed until the following morning.
Around 8:30, 8:40, I went over to have my C-section.
This is almost 2 days now of spots of blood and bleeding.
3 days. Because the Wednesday that there's slight blood, and then the Thursday morning, and then the Friday morning when they gave me the, well, not actually in the OB emergency room when I showed them that the bed was stained with blood too, and they didn't even bother about it.
Baby Aaron survived the C-section procedure and was taken to the neonatal intensive care unit for further care. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead at 10:40 p.m. on the 8th of July. The causes of death listed on the death certificate are catastrophic interventricular hemorrhage, septic shock, low birth weight, and prematurity.
It's a type of stroke, it's a hemorrhagic type of stroke where instead of just bleeding into the brains, it bleeds into what they call the ventricle, which is like some little reservoir of spinal fluid that is involved in the whole brain system. And when we have it there, then that is even a worse prognosis because then it's not just in the brain, it's in the ventricles.
So I went over again to say my last goodbyes to my baby, and before they sent him over to the morgue. And I took pictures of him. I remember asking when I can see him at the morgue, and they said I can't see him till I get a death certificate.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.